and welcome to the DC United Kingdom podcast. This is season 3. I almost said season 2, but it's season 3, and this is episode 2. As you'll see, alongside me, I have got our new head coach, Hernán Losada. Welcome to the show, and welcome to the club, more importantly.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Pleasure to me to be in your show.
Oh, it's an absolute honor to have the head coach of a club on. It's something that is just absolutely insane. It's madness getting players on, but to have the head coach like yourself is fantastic, and especially when you've only recently joined as well. As we just briefly spoke about, you've arrived in DC on Wednesday. How has it been since you arrived?
Well, due to all these protocols and rules, most of my time at the hotel, going to the club for 2 COVID tests on Friday and this morning. In the meanwhile, trying to do some work from my room hotel, some video calls, trying to search my new home. So looking forward to hopefully starting from tomorrow, being at the club and meeting in person my staff and all the people working for the club.
Yeah. So you've had a little bit of fresh air then?
Yeah.
So have you, you've answered the next question, which was, have you had a chance to explore the city, but obviously not due to COVID. What kind of things are you looking forward to actually getting out into the city? Is there any sort of particular landmarks, or are you looking to do this kind of standard touristy stuff during your downtime?
No, I hope I can jump in very soon in that tourist bus where shows me around the city. I think that's one of the best ways to get to know the city. But as far as I could check, there's a lot of green. The Potomac River is crossing, good landscape, good monuments, a lot of museums to visit. Yes. So very exciting city, and I love big cities. I'm coming from Buenos Aires. That's where I was born. I've been living in Santiago de Chile. I've been living in Brussels. So I'm a city guy, and I really like to live in big cities like this one.
It's absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I've only been there twice in my life, but both times it's been absolutely fantastic. And like last time I was there was during sort of the springtime, so when the cherry blossoms are out. So you've got that to look forward to. And what always gets me about DC is how quiet it is as well. It's considering it's a capital city of a huge nation. It's so quiet. It's beautiful.
I never been so much outside until now, but also due to COVID, it seems to be a lot of less traffic and a lot of less people outside than normal. But I can imagine how beautiful the city can be in summertime. So let's hope the weather change real quick and we have a little bit more of temperature, because it's quite cold right now.
Yeah, I did notice it's like 5 or 6 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm not a Fahrenheit kind of guy, but it's similar to over here, and it's blooming cold.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold outside, but I think soon we will have better temperatures and better weather to train and to play.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully less COVID as well. That will be nice. So you've only been here a few days. Have you had any favorite moments yet? I know it's short and it hasn't even been a week yet, but how has the hotel Wi-Fi been?
My favorite moment until now was Friday when I had my COVID test at the stadium and I could see the stadium live. I have to say it's completely different than in video or in pictures. Being live, it's beautiful. It's much bigger than what I expected, and everything is new. It's brand new. It's a new stadium, new facilities, new structure. So looking forward to be the manager in that beautiful stadium.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning. And what you'll notice as well, when we've actually got fans back at the ground, is the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic. Even though it's completely open, it's really loud. It is really, really loud. I was there in the support section back in April of 2019. And it was just something else. I was expecting the noise just to disappear into the air, but no, it was good. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I hear about the atmosphere. So
Yeah,
hopefully the fans can come real quick and real soon
yeah,
to all stadiums. I think soccer is a completely other sport with or without fans in the stands. So let's hope that change very real quick.
yeah. I was actually going to ask about what it's like to manage when there's no fans in the ground, because you've been where there has been fans in the ground, and now you're going to where there's no fans in the ground. What was that change like? How much of a
Yeah,
change did you notice?
massive change. Not only for me, also for the players. To give you an example, we play beginning of March 2020, the promotion final to promote from second division to first division in Belgium in a full stadium. And in July, we play the return final in an empty stadium. And that was like a completely different atmosphere. It really seems to be a friendly game instead of a competition game, but you were playing for promotion, the final game. So at the start was kind of difficult to find the right words to motivate the players, to let them know how important the games still are without the fans, because you get that impression of friendly games. So it's real weird in the beginning. Now I have to say at the end I was a little bit more used to it. But we all know that motivation and emotions, because soccer is emotions, are completely different without fans in the stands.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I'm looking forward to being able to go back to a football ground and just cheering and getting back to Audi Field again. I know it's a long way away for me, but I can't wait to get back out there and just be in the supporter section and just getting that beer shower. Because one thing I do want to note on this, so the fans like to throw their beer in the air whenever there's a goal scored. Now, I've noticed your recent result, well, your results since you've been a manager, there's been plenty of goals.
You're gonna need a lot of beer.
You will need a lot of beer. You're gonna be making money for DC here with the amount of refills. Let's put it that way. I just want to touch on that because in the games, I think you've managed in 42 games I was researching earlier. Only 9 times has there ever been just a single goal match. And you've never been in a game where there's been a 0-0 draw. Is there any particular reason for that? Is it just the way you set out your team, that you're just going to outscore the opponents? What is it?
Yeah, the reason is basically that the moment we are leading the game by 1 goal, we keep on going for the second goal. I have difficulties, and I also had those difficulties as a soccer player when I was playing, to play to don't concede. I like to play to score. I think soccer it has to be entertainment, and it's about entertaining the fans in the stands. So basically that's the reason. When we were leading, we went for the second goal. When we were losing, we play all or nothing, going for the victory. And when it was a draw, we were never satisfied with the draw. And sometimes went well, sometimes went wrong. But I'm quite sure that at the end of the road, 3 points in one game, it's the same as 3 draws. So with one game, you are the same than making 3 ties. And a victory is means a lot, but you need to go for it, and you need to play for the victory. And I think that's a little bit the explanation, and that's why sometimes you saw such a big scores for the best
5-5.
and for the best and for the bad. And I need to find the balance. That's up to me. But on the long term, I think you get reward when you take that kind of risk going full for the victory.
Yeah, I mean, you rightly say football, soccer is entertainment. And when you've got a 5-5 draw in there, that's entertaining. It's a draw, but that is entertaining.
Yeah.
10 goals in one game.
Yeah, that was that was something I never had before. Even as a soccer player, I never had something like that before. That game we were losing 0-2 after 10 minutes. We came back 3-2. Then we were losing again 4-3. It was a crazy game, but just because we're both teams going full for the victory, and then you get those kind of spectacles.
Yeah, you're speaking to a club that over the last sort of few seasons, there's been a few goals. It's been defensive, so the fact that you're coming in with all this passion about scoring goals, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, let's try to find the players who are going to score all those goals, because that wasn't an easy mission for DC United the last couple of years. But I'm sure that has to be something collective. You don't need to be always expecting the same guy scoring. Goals can come from defenders on set pieces, can come from infiltrations from the midfield, or can come from forwards or attacking players. So it's just about finding the right balance, and the more players who can be involved in those attacking situations, the more chances to score goals.
That's kind of logical, really. Another thing I want to know about the way you set up your games is I've noticed that you generally don't go with a 4-back formation. You tend to either go with three at the back or even 5 at the back. Is that something that we'll see going forward with DC United, or have you not quite decided on that yet?
Look, to play back 4 or back 3, you need the players for. You need the roster, and you have to adapt to the profile of players you have at this moment. And I don't know. That's something I need to evaluate. That's something I need to see. What's the best for this roster? What's the best for DC United? Yeah. If I have the players for, I have a light preference for a back 3 or back 5, you name it.
Yep.
But if not, if I'm a flexible coach. I play many games with back 4, and I don't have any problems to play in a back 4 formation. So we will see what's the best for this squad at this moment with DC.
Cool. And I'm guessing you've had a chance to look at who we've got briefly, albeit. Have you found anywhere that we can improve? Have you identified any key areas that we need to strengthen in?
Well, all the areas could be better. Defensively, I think we're gonna need an extra center back. On the midfield, the kind of profile box to box, maybe it's missing. And offensive wise, well, a scorer. But the fact that the last years we didn't have a big scorer in our ranks doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Maybe it could be one of the players that it's already in our roster who became a top scorer due to our new way of play. So the ideal situation would be to get one transfer or one new player per line. But if it's not the case, because financial doesn't seem to be the best year for DC comparing with other teams, then we will have to find solutions and being creative with what we have.
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't think anyone would argue if you weren't able to spend that much money, considering the whole scenario that this world is in as well, the pandemic, and the fact that there won't be any revenue coming in from match days and things like that as well. So I don't think anyone's going to argue too much. Let's put it that way. If we've got to be creative, let's be creative.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's going to happen. The first season, that means the first season will be an adaptation season also for me, in case we cannot make big investments, and trying to build up towards the second season where everyone knows my philosophy, my way of play, my principles, and then maybe we are 100% sure having more revenues, like you say, to expend more money and to make more specific transfers.
Yeah, and with that revenue, if we're scoring goals and we've got the fans in, we're going to make that revenue with the beer. Let's say that. Yeah. Speaking of the roster, just going on from that as well. In the last sort of 2 to 3 years, we've been having a few homegrowns come through the ranks with the likes of Griffin Yao, Moses Nyman, Kevin Paredes, Donovan Pines, just to name a few. Will you be looking to the youth to continue, or will you be looking to more of the experienced heads in the roster for your first season?
I think everything is about the balance. You cannot play with 11 young guys from our own academy, and I don't like to play only with experienced players. I think the club needs to make space for homegrown players. They did it very well last season, the moments they got the opportunity to play. So it's all about the balance. Those young guys also need the right structure and the right experience around to perform even better. So I will keep giving chances and minutes to homegrown players, but surrounded by the ideal experienced players who can make them better and who can make them perform even better than last season. So we will try to find a balance, but I'm a coach who likes to work and give minutes to homegrown players as long as they deserve it. You know, you need to deserve those minutes.
Yeah, I imagine on the training pitch, they're going to have to work hard to get those minutes as well. I can't imagine you allow them just to slack off a little bit and just say, you'll have 90 minutes in the next game.
No, sorry. I need a little bit of water. No, definitely. It's all about competition. The more internal competition you have, the better your roster will be, and the higher they're gonna perform. I think the best competition is always intern, is inside, is to fight for your position. And the moment you start pushing each other, you get also your level higher. So competition, it's important, and that's why if we could get one extra player per line, that could help that competition, and that will push us to perform even better.
Cool. That's what I like to hear. We're going to move on to the segment called Getting to Know DCYou now. So for you fans out there, this is the segment that you love. We get to know Hernán a little bit deeper now. So you mentioned before you were a soccer player. How long were you a professional soccer player for?
I've been playing since my 20s as professional. So I made my debut quite late, but I was playing until my 36. So 16 years of professional soccer career. Not bad. Also thanks to almost no injuries. So I've been fit all my career. I only got one operation on my foot, who took me 8 weeks to come back. That was my longest period outside the field. So I played a lot of games, and it was quite a good career. I'm quite happy with the soccer career I made.
Yeah, 16 years is pretty good going. And the fact that you only had 6-8 weeks out, that's consistent. That's great.
Yeah, I've been taking care a lot of my body, and I had a healthy life outside the field. You know how important that is. I try to talk about that a lot with the players. Your body is your fuel. Is your it's what you need to perform, and it's not only about good training. It's also about resting good and eating healthy. When you can manage those 3 points together, then your chances to succeed and having a longer career are much bigger. So I was a good professional, and that helps me a lot to have those 16 years of career with almost no injuries.
Yeah. So your first pro contract, who was that with?
With Independiente in Argentina. And with Oscar Ruggeri as a coach, former world champion in 1986 with Maradona in Mexico. So quite a legend in Argentina.
That's pretty good. How was that playing under him then?
Well, I didn't make my debut under him. I got my first professional contract under him. I was training with him, I make my debut with Chiche Sosa, also an old school coach, great coach in Argentina. But I've been also a soccer player under Cesar Luis Menotti. Menotti was the coach of that team in '78, the first World Cup of Argentina. So I get to know quite of good people with the name at soccer, where I could pick up enough information to put in practice later on when I started my coaching career.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds awesome. I mean, I can't imagine what that kind of experience would have been like growing up.
Yeah, and as a soccer player, I also I was sharing dressing room with players like Sergio Agüero or Romelu Lukaku, playing together in Anderlecht. So
Yes,
yeah, quite an experience to play with together with such a talent who reached the top of the top.
that's insane. I mean, every time I get someone on and I ask that question about who they've played alongside and who's the best been, and it's just some of the players that come out is just unbelievable. So let me ask that: who has been the best player you've played alongside?
Well, I think those two that I mentioned, together with Lucas Biglia, who also played for the national team, were probably my top three. And then I had the luck to play against a lot of big players like Carlos Tevez or Kevin De Bruyne, Courtois, when I was playing in Belgium. So yeah, good experience playing with me and against me. So those are memories for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. And if there's one player you wish you could have played alongside from the past that you didn't get to, who would have that been?
I think Juan Roman Riquelme, the number
Oh,
10 of Boca Juniors,
yes.
Barcelona, Villarreal. I would love to have the chance to even share a dressing room with him or practice with him. I think that's the biggest number 10 ever and the last number 10 we ever gonna see in soccer.
Yeah, Raquelme, what a legend.
Mm.
I know him from playing. I unfortunately not a professional soccer player. I wish I was. That would have been great. Um, but I lived through the dreams of playing Football Manager, and signing Raquelme from Boca Juniors was always on the top of the list. He was just free kick specialist. He was absolutely awesome. Yeah, absolute legend. Um, so we've got a question on here, which is six-a-side team. So six-a-side is quite big over here in the UK. A lot of people play it. Who would you have in your six-a-side team? So generally we'll go with a keeper, two defenders, a midfielder, and two forwards. Who would you have in that?
Oh, goalkeeper, I will choose probably Courtois from Belgium.
Yep.
Thibaut Courtois, goalkeeper of Real Madrid. Central defenders, Virgin Van Dijk from Liverpool and Sergio Ramos. Midfield player, a kind of mix, box to box. It could be Busquets from Barcelona.
Good shout.
And strikers, yeah, strikers. I won't go for the easy ones like Messi and Cristiano. I will choose. I will choose Kevin De Bruyne and and Sergio Agüero. Those two.
Nice. That's a good mix there of
Yeah,
different styles of play as well. I think
yeah.
that would go
You have
quite well.
speed. You have speed. You have power. You have assist with De Bruyne. You have goals. So yeah, you got me cold on that one. I wasn't prepared, but
You've come out well there. You've come
yeah,
out
yeah.
strong. And I'm glad you didn't go with the classic Ronaldo and Messi up front.
No,
But
no,
yeah,
no.
you couldn't
That
do
could be
that.
too easy. Yeah.
So we were speaking earlier about the fact that in the games that you've managed, there's been plenty of goals, and we spoke about that 5-5 draw. But for you, what has been the greatest game that you've managed so far?
Oh, the promotion final was amazing. We won both games at home 1-0 and away 1-4. 1-0 with supporters, 1-4 without supporters. And then in first division, we beat Bruges, Club Bruges and Anderlecht, both teams. And
Wow.
Club Bruges is the former champion, playing Champions League, having a budget of more than 100 millions more than us. In their stadium, we beat them 0-1. And playing at home against Anderlecht, beating them 2-1. So we beat both the two biggest teams in Belgium, playing for a team, managing a team who came from second division. I don't think that's a bad performance for a rookie coach like me.
Just blow your own trumpet on that one. Why
Yeah.
not? So when you faced Angela, was that when Vincent Company was in
Yes.
charge?
Yeah. With Company as a coach, also a legend, by the way.
Yeah.
His career as a soccer player was amazing, and for me, it was an honor having him next to me, a few meters distance, because I've been watching their games with City. All his career, also with the national team, was amazing, and it's also a real gentleman, and also a young coach, just starting his manager career. So was kind of a pleasure to have him next to me, and also defeat him in our game.
Yeah. There seems to be a breed of former footballers come through as head coaches now. So over here you've got Wayne Rooney, obviously former DC player, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard. But in MLS you've got Thierry Henry, who you'll be coming up against this season. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if the season goes as it should. What's it like to transition from? I mean, I'm going away from the questions here, just on a tangent. But what's it like to transition from being a player over to being a coach, and especially when you've played alongside some of the players as well?
It's not hard. I have to say. I thought it could be harder, but the thing is, at the same time, I was still playing soccer. I was doing all my diplomas and all my UEFA courses to become a coach. So the last couple of years, I was already thinking more as a coach than as a player, and that transition wasn't hard at all, because I knew exactly what a player expects from a manager, because I've been a soccer player 3 years ago. So that has a kind of a plus, that the dressing room, was the best way to communicate to the players. Players like honesty, likes respect, likes to tell the truth in the face, like to get the same attention either they play or not. So you have those kind of codes that this new generation needs to perform. These kind of players, these new players, needs a lot of confidence, positive coaching. And that's why I think for young managers like the ones you mentioned, the click with the squad and and with the roster is less hard than for a coach who maybe comes from another generation with another rules, like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Let's move away from soccer now. So we're going to get to know a bit more now. What kind of hobbies do you have outside of football, or soccer, I should say?
More sports.
Yeah.
Playing tennis. I love to play tennis.
Yeah.
I love to run. So whenever I can, I try to run outside, to do some fitness, to play some tennis. But for the rest, I put all my energy in soccer, in watching more games of the league, games of my own teams, of games of the opposition, trying to pick information and ideas from other coaches like Nagelsmann or Jurgen Klopp, or Simeone or Bielsa. So I invest a lot of time, a lot of my time on soccer, but every time I have a free space, I like to go outside and also, why not being a tourist? I like to visit another cities. I like to discover the city where I live, new places, go for a restaurant, visit a new spot. So I try to keep a balance. Sometimes I'm not good at it because I spend a lot of time on my job, because that's my passion, and sometimes I forget that that's my job because I do it with a lot of love and respect. But mostly sports and discovering the city or new spots close to the city where I live.
Next question. Do you cook?
No,
Oh,
I mean, I can survive. I know how to do a pasta or chicken or but I hate to cook. I hate, most of all, everything what comes after cooking, the cleaning part and taking all the dishes, and so most of the time delivery.
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Expensive.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah.
But cooking for one,
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult if you're
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
usually ready meals that I've put in the microwave. That's what I was doing when I was on my own.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um. So, if you were stranded on a desert island, what album would you take with you, or would you have with you to listen? And that's the one album you've got.
Uh, Probably Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Oh, great shout. Yes.
Yeah, something on that direction. Pink Floyd, Radiohead. Yeah, I'm a rock fan, a little bit old school. Queen of the
Yes.
Stone Age. Those are my favorite bands.
Oh, you've just you've just gone way up in my estimations. And every single player I've had on there has just gone some weird route that's specific you only find in America. But
Mm.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Nice
and
to have another rock fan.
yeah, the Beatles as well. The Beatles, I'm
Beatles,
also a
yeah.
big fan. But I mean, music-wise, I'm more a classic one, old school.
Yeah.
All this new music, I can listen, or I can go to a festival. The atmosphere is great, but listen on myself, yeah, those are my favorite bands.
Nice. Nice. Queens of the Stone Age. It's a great job. Foo Fighters for me.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
That's
Yeah, that's great call. Is the same guy, Queens of Stone Age
yeah.
and Foo Fighters.
Yes. Yeah. He's really talented, that guy. He
Mm.
is insanely talented. Um, in this last little section, if someone was to ask you what's one thing that the fans don't know about you, what would your answer be?
Oh, I don't know. Probably many things.
I know you're new to the club, so fans aren't going to know too much about you right now. But
I don't know. How can I say? What can I say? I play Copa Libertadores with Independiente, and on my debut, I scored 2 goals, winning
nice,
4-2. Soccer wise, in my soccer career, playing Europa League for Herenveen in Holland, I scored against Hertha Berlin in the Olympic Stadium where they played the World Cup final in Germany 2006.
nice.
My first game as starting 11 in Belgium, I scored a hat trick, and we won 6-3. And from that game, I never left the first 11 anymore. Um,
So when did you play for Heronveen then?
2009, 2010.
Yeah, that would have been before. So would that have been after? So I'm in the UK. I support Middlesbrough,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to think would you have played? I think it's after we signed him that you would have played for them, which is Afonso Alves, Brazilian striker. He scored many, many goals for Heerenveen in the
Say
Dutch
again
league.
the name?
Afonso Alves?
No, I don't know him. No.
No. Yeah,
No.
I think we signed him before then, because I remember there was one particular. The best game that I've ever witnessed was Middlesbrough beating Man City 8-1.
Yeah. I heard about.
That was I was there in the northeast corner. It was just something else. It was my niece's first ever game that she'd seen as well. So we're like, good omen. We'll keep her coming. Unbelievable. Afonso Alves scored a couple of goals. I think it was the only couple of goals he'd scored for the club, bearing in mind he wasn't great for us, but he did play for Heerenveen. So that slight link there. Let's move on to some quick fire questions. This or that. I'm going to ask you to pick your favorite, apart from the last one, which is a bit of an odd one. So out of these two, do you prefer Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
Yeah,
No doubt.
That's a bit coming from where you're from Argentina. I think that was going to be only one answer on that one.
I'm coming from Buenos Aires, Messi from Rosario, Santa Fe, but I mean, two players very talented. I think I have a big respect for Cristiano, because I don't think Cristiano has the natural talent that Messi has. Cristiano was all based on training and discipline and commitment, and Messi is more natural. But I'm more a Messi type.
Yeah, and the respect goes to Ronaldo, because he's been able to continue doing it at his age as well, and the fact that he's been able to do it in different nations as well.
That's ridiculous. That's really ridiculous. Yes, it's amazing. That's why I say enormous respect for the career for both, because both are performing year after year after year. It's like it's never stopped, and Cristiano is 35 now, I think. So it's unbelievable that those guys keep on performing the way they did, and they do, even getting a little bit older.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one. This is obviously a big one for the fans. You're new to Major League Soccer and to DC United, but would you rather beat the New York Red Bulls or win the MLS Cup?
That's an easy one, I think. MLS Cup. I mean, when you win the MLS Cup, that means you have defeated the Red Bulls as well, because you have been strong enough to do both. But of course, the title is forever. A derby, I know it's very important. I know the importance for derbies. Believe me, I play many of them. But when you win a title, you are history, and you write history. So MLS Cup.
Yeah. And I've heard you say this particular word so far throughout the episode, but I say the other one: soccer or football?
Yeah, no, I'm used to I'm used to say football. You know, I'm trying to stick in my head now that word soccer, because here football is for American football, but no, football. But from now on, soccer.
Yeah, the same. It's very strange getting used to you saying the word soccer, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
So the next one is of a similar vein. Would you call it a shutout or a clean sheet?
Clean sheet or
shutout. It's a very American term. You don't.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with that. So clean sheet.
Yeah, you if you watch the games with the American commentary, you'll hear a few of them saying shutout when instead of clean sheet. It's a strange one, but there you go.
I have to say, the day we get points for having a clean sheet, I will be busy with clean sheets. As long as you don't get any extra point for a clean sheet, there's only one thing that matters, and that's winning the games.
Yeah, score more than them.
Yeah.
If you don't score, you don't win. I think that's as simple as that, isn't it? And now you've come from Belgium, so then this next question, because the spelling of the club can come across in one or two ways. Is it Beerschot or Beerschot?
Yeah, the first was excellent. Beerschot. And when you have two vocals together, it's like you need to go a little bit longer. Beerschot.
Okay.
But your pronunciation, the first one, excellent.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And that is it. We've come to
Okay.
the end. Thank you for taking the time out to come and join me on this little old podcast over in England about this American Major League Soccer side. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you on. Have you got anything that you want to say to the fans before we end the show?
Yeah, of course. That I'm really looking forward to play again in full stadiums with our fan base. I heard the DC fan base is one of, to not saying the best fan base in MLS. Very enthusiastic, very Latin. So looking forward to meet them all at the stadium, and hopefully the times that they cannot join us at the stadium, we can entertain them enough from TV, watching behind the screens, and let's hope to be together, to stick together in good and bad moments, because the support of the fan base is huge for a coach, but also for the players. So let's stay positive together and believe in this new era in DC United.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To the fans of the show, thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to do this show. If you like it, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, subscribe on the podcast as well, leave a like, and hopefully a review as well. Let's be kind. Thank you. 5 stars only. That would be nice. And until next time, thank you, Hernan. Hopefully we'll be able to speak again soon. And to you fans out there, Vamos United.
Yes, Vamos United. Ciao.